Good evening, everybody. Happy Wednesday.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Recording in progress.
Madam Chair, we are live.
Perfect. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Today is April 27, 22, and the time is 7:06. At this time, I'll go ahead and call to order today's Planning Commission meeting. Commissioner Maciel, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
All right. Get the right hand over your heart. After me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. All right, at this time, Planning Secretary, can you please do roll call? Present.
Joanna Valenzuela.
Present.
Vice Chair Mario Maciel.
Here. Here.
Here.
Otto Vasquez.
Here.
Thank you very much. Okay, at this moment, we'll go ahead and open up any oral communications. Do we have any? Okay. At this moment, I'll go ahead and close out oral communications. Next, we'll go ahead and move on to the consent calendar. Ron? The first item on the consent calendar is the action minutes of the meeting from March 23rd, 2022.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. At this moment, I'll go ahead and motion to move forward.
I'll go ahead and second it.
Thank you. Roll call. Yes. Yes.
Mario Maciel.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. And at this moment, we'll go ahead and move on to the second consent item. Do we have any public hearing for the matter? Okay, at this moment, we'll actually go ahead and open up public hearings. Do we have any?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have an item that was continued from the March 23rd, 2022 Planning Commission meeting. The reason for the meeting was a continuance, as you remember, was to allow the applicant time to provide some additional information that the commission requested at that time. Staff will be providing a presentation. Just wait for presentation to load up. There we go. Thank you. Good evening, Planning Commissioner, staff, and the public. As you remember, this item was continued from the March 23rd, 2022 Planning Commission meeting. Again, it was to gather additional information based on the request of a new warehouse facility for Sanders Candy Company located on 5051 Calmview Avenue. Since that meeting, we were able to communicate with the applicant to further clarify the information that was initially submitted in the staff report on that meeting date. A couple of those items included clarification on impacts to the Pleasant View Elementary School with respect to the proposed operation and construction of the new warehouse facility. The other is hours of operation of the facility, and also parking with respect to the proposed building in relation to the existing operation of the facility. So I'll go ahead and summarize those. And then the applicant is, at the conclusion of the presentation, the applicant is here to provide some further information. Next slide. Again, I just want to make note in this slide. As you remember, the Sanders Candy Company is off of forgive me, but we have Gayhurst and Calmview on the east. We have Gayhurst on the west, and then Calmview on the east. We went over this in our general plan housing element discussions. Is on the north side of Baldwin Park, you have a lot of industrial uses beginning from the north side on Arrow all the way down to like Nubia. All the properties that run along Nubia are single-family residentially zoned properties. And then once you get past those properties that abut Nubia, everything becomes industrially, commercially zoned or industrially zoned properties. But within those properties, you have a remnant mix of residential uses that exist in between all these industrial uses. The goal of the general plan is to transition those uses out. So that way you don't have residential uses mixed in with intense industrial uses. So that's what you find on Gayhurst. And so I wanted to make note, provide you with a zoning map of that area, so that way providing a context as to zoning and what exists in that area. Next slide. I'm sorry, before you go to the next slide, Mark, David, can you go back to it real quick? So in meeting with the applicant, we were able to confirm, given the hours of operation, the operation of the school is from 7:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. And I'll go over the specifics of the hours of operation of the candy company. So you'll see that green square box over there, that's Pleasant View Elementary. So it's about, give or take, approximately about a mile away from where the facility, just based on the hours of operation and where the proposed building is located, and with respect to the existing candy company, there is a distance. We feel that there isn't going to be an impact based on the start time of the school and the hours of operation of the candy facility. Next slide. So the hours of operation, in discussion with the applicant, consists of 35-person packaging crew between the hours of 5 a.m. and 1 p.m. And then you have another crew coming in from 2 p.m. To 10 p.m. In addition to the packaging crew, there are two 15-person panning crews that work between the hours of 6 a.m. and 2 p.m. and 2 p.m. and 10 p.m. So you have those shift changes. And again, you don't have all those employees coming in, so there is that shift in employee change. So you're not having like 70 plus employees coming in all working at once. The other is that you have a two 15-person panning crew work between the hours of 6 a.m. and 2 p.m. and 2 p.m. and 10 p.m. And lastly, you have one 20-person crew that comes in between the hours of 10 p.m. And 6 a.m. So you can see the overlap there to allow for that shift. So in the end, at any one time, approximately a total of no more than 50 employees would be on site during that shift change. The applicant did clarify that all pickups and deliveries are completed on Calmview Avenue. I know that was a concern of the commission between the hours of 5 a.m. and 2 p.m., which will remain. The applicant also confirmed that the existing proposed warehouse will neither ship or receive from Gayhurst Avenue. Additionally, employees will move freely between the subject properties over the shared property lines located to the rear of the Gayhurst Avenue properties. This slide here, just for context, can see 5060, which is in the yellow box on the west side off of Gayhurst. That is the proposed subject site where the warehouse building is being proposed. And again, it's in mirror of the adjacent building. And then right below that, you have 5038, which is the 28 parking lot, 28 space parking lot that was approved several years ago to provide parking for the candy company. And then the area that's outlined in green is 5051 Calmview, which also incorporates the building off of Gayhurst. So it's consolidated into one address as 5051. On the next slide, I'll show on the rendering on the site plan. One thing I want to make note is that based on deliveries and how the facility, how the properties interact with each other, is that at the rears of those buildings, that's where the employees manage the movement of the completed goods, candy. So there isn't any, as confirmed by the applicant, there aren't any truck deliveries or pickups off of Gayhurst, only on Calmview. Next slide. So you'll notice here you got the parking lot on the right-hand side. On the south side, you have the darker shaded area, which is the proposed new building area. And then on the right side, you have the existing building. You can see on the backs, there's openings to these buildings where they freely come and go between all the buildings. So they're not having to go on Calmview, go to Nubia, come up Gayhurst. All the activity is taking place between now those three properties for the movement of those goods and the warehousing of those goods as well. Next slide. So parking. Just to go over, on Gayhurst Avenue, we have the parking lot again, as I described. We have 28 parking spaces that are there that have existed. And then on 5051 Gayhurst Avenue, you have 14 parking spaces. And then on 5060 Gayhurst, you have 9 spaces for a total of 51 parking spaces provided. I just realized there's a typo here. 5051 Gayhurst should read as 5051 Calmview. I apologize for that. There are 14 spaces between those two. So you remember you got 9 spaces located right in front of that building. And then right in front of the existing manufacturing building on Calmview, you have 5 more spaces. So that comes out to 14 spaces. And again, in total, you have 51 spaces. One thing that we found while engaging with the applicant is that not all the parking spaces are utilized at once. There are several employees that use the carpool, and there are also employees that bicycle to the facility. So at the end of the day, you have a surplus with the development of the warehouse building. So would be efficient based on what the proposes and the existing. That concludes staff's presentation. Move on to the next slide. And again, as initially recommended, we are recommending that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution to approve the proposed facility. And it is our hope that staff and the applicant were able to provide that additional information based on the Commission's request. Again, the applicant is here to answer any further questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. At this moment, we'll go ahead and open up any comments, concerns from the commission.
Around the question is, any communication with the community? Has that been done?
Yes, thank you for that. Notice of public hearing did go out. And we had the initial 300-foot radius from the property go out. He did not receive any letters of concern or emails of concern or calls of concern during those 2 noticing periods leading up to both public hearings, including tonight.
Was that also sent out in Spanish? And
I did respond to the Planning Commission. I did reach out to our city attorney, our administration, and unfortunately, we do not have the resources at the moment to translate the notice. I did make note that our notices of public hearing that we send out regularly have a Spanish available at the bottom, that if they need Spanish translation or would like to know more about the project, please contact staff. Since I've been here and since I've been doing this for 17 plus years, I've barely had any issue with offering translation services. Just like available at the council meetings, we do have simultaneous translation as well. But no one during that time communicated with us.
Yes, and excuse me. We did look at this administratively and talked with other city officials about it. One part of it is really a financial budget aspect, because if we were to start doing that in the Planning Commission, of course, more than likely we'd have to start doing it in other commissions along with the city council meetings as well. And there just wasn't the budget for that at this time. And as Ron mentioned, we do have that little blurb at the bottom in the event that there are Spanish speakers that want to reach out. Maybe at some time we can revisit that, but right now it just wasn't feasible for us to do. But I think it was a good idea for you to inquire about that and for us to inquire about it with the city officials. But at this time, it's just not going to work out in terms of the different languages and translating it into that.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney, for that. I also like to add, as I mentioned in a previous email to the commission, we are getting a new agenda management system, and that agenda management system allows the ability to translate technical documents. So we're going to be looking at that. So we're a little bit ahead of the game in communication with our city clerk to be able to offer that in the future.
so we're saying that at this time, for this specific, we're not able to send it, but for future projects or notices, we're able to do that?
What it looks like we're going to do is we're going to try and look into other technology that would allow us to do it in a more efficient and financially feasible way. So we're not guaranteeing that we're going to do that for the rest for projects or when we're going to do that, but I think that Ron will aggressively look into that, and as soon as we are able to do that, I think we will. It's a good idea, and we'd like to do it when it becomes financially feasible for us.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the commission? Okay. Okay. At this moment, I'll go ahead and open up public hearing. Anybody in favor? Go ahead and step up, please. Anybody in opposition? Okay, perfect. Thank you. I see none, so then I'll go ahead and close out the commentary. Okay. And does the applicant want to say any few words before we proceed? Okay.
Can you hear me now? Good. I'm Mike Sanders. I'm the CFO for Sanders Candy Factory. Thank you for the opportunity to come before you, and it's nice to put a face to a name doing that. With COVID and everything, it's been hard for everybody to do whatever, we've had to do in the past. We've been with Involvement Park for 35 plus years, and I appreciate the city for helping us grow over those 35 years. We've been to the Planning Commission multiple times for different buildings, and it's helped us to grow. And by growing, we've added, more employees, and a lot of them come from Baldwin Park. So it's a way to provide jobs for the people here, and they can spend their money here in this city too. I did want to reassure that most of our deliveries and pickups, and they're 2 to 3 a day, that they all come off of Arrow Highway, and they're instructed to go back to Arrow Highway. And just to reassure you about our workflow and stuff, the existing warehouse on Gayhurst and the brand new warehouse on Gayhurst are workflow-wise all set up with large back doors. Everything flows from the back of those buildings into our facility on Calmview. So at no time, there's not any trucks that go on Gayhurst at all. And the new warehouse that's on Gayhurst, we are actually not even putting a front door on it, because the existing door on the existing warehouse we have has never been opened. We have stuff behind, some labels and stuff all stacked behind it. I just want to assure you that traffic-wise, it's on and off through Arrow Highway, and everything is done on Calmview. That's just, again, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. At this moment, then we'll go ahead and proceed with a motion.
Motion?
A motion to go ahead and pass.
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Valenzuela.
Yes.
Vice Chair Mario Maciel.
Yes.
Eric King.
Yes.
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 And Madam Secretary, just for the record, that was a motion to approve item 2, correct?
Correct.
Thank you very much. So at this moment, we'll go ahead and proceed with any staff reports. Do we have any? No? Okay.
Sorry, no, that is the last.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Any reports?
Joanna, Vice Chair, if I may.
Sure, go ahead.
Mr. Saunders, I want to thank you guys for coming out and giving us the details of your business. I know we put a lot of stress on, I think it was the architect that we spoke to the last time. He was, we were questioning in regards to the hours of operation and the parking. So I appreciate you guys coming out and explaining to us exactly how this operation is going to work. Awesome. We're looking forward to that. Thank you. All right.
Any reports of officers? Go ahead and proceed. Okay. I see none. Then we'll go ahead and proceed with adjourning today's meeting.
I'll
Time-
second that.
Okay. Right before we adjourn, I just wanted, real quick, number one, I wanted to welcome back Esther.
Washington.
We're really happy to have her back, and we couldn't be more happier. So,
Thank
welcome
you.
back, Esther.
Welcome back, Ms. Washington.
Thank
Welcome
you.
back.
In addition to that, I did want to come back. I know there was a planning commission request on update on the Athens
Yes.
on Live Oak. So that came out just recently in the most recent BP Now. And so construction officially started March 24th and is expected to be completed late 2023. So if there's any, again, it's in the BP Now, but if there's any concerns or questions during that whole process in the BP Now, there's a phone number to Athens and also an email to communicate with them during that time. Again, just to give you a quick summary of, it's a 250,000 square foot facility. There'll be roughly 300 employees at that facility, and the estimated cost of that building out that facility is $100 million. So it's going to be an active facility, but again, it's in the BP Now.
How many vehicles are they planning to be moving a day, Ron?
Good question. I'll have to get back to you on that one.
I'm very curious to know how they're managing to do that on top of having waste management just diagonally across from them.
I'll circle back with the commission on that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other reports before we proceed?
That's all. Thank
Okay,
you, Madam
perfect.
Chair.
Okay, anybody? Any other comments, questions, concerns? Okay, perfect. So then we'll go ahead and move forward to adjourn today's meeting.
I'll second it.
Perfect. Time is 7:30. Record.
Wow,
Good
7:30.
night, everybody.
Night, everyone.
Good night.
So, Madam Chair, there was a motion on the floor and a second to adjourn. And I think it'd be a good idea just to put on the record the vote with the Madam Secretary. Have her call it.
Almost done.
I believe there's a motion by the chair
Motion I
and a second by yes.
Yes.
Chair Joanna Valenzuela,
Yes.
Vice Chair Mario Maciel Jr.,
Yes.
Commissioner Eric Pena,
Yes.
Commissioner Jean Escobosa,
Yes.
and Commissioner Ricardo Vasquez.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Good night.
We stand adjourned.
All right. Meeting adjourned.
Don't be afraid. Before we used to say any objections, and that